Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today we're diving deep into the world of the 1991 United States quarter dollar, a coin that at first glance seems like ordinary pocket change, but in certain rare cases, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you've ever wondered whether those 1991 quarters in your jar might hide a small fortune, you'll want to stick around until the end, because I'll be covering everything from its minting history, the different mint marks, the most valuable era varieties, and real auction records that prove these coins can be treasures in disguise. The 1991 quarter belongs to the Washington Quarter series, which started in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1991, the series had been in circulation for almost 6 decades, and the design still featured the iconic bust of George Washington on the obverse, with the heraldic eagle on the reverse. These coins were struck in copper-nickel clad composition, not silver, but that doesn't mean they don't carry hidden value. In fact, it's not the metal that makes them valuable, but their rarity, condition, and the errors that sometimes occur during the minting process. Let's talk about where these coins were minted. In 1991, 3 U.S. mints produced quarters: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with AD, and San Francisco with an S mint mark for proof coins. The Philadelphia mint struck over 630 million quarters, Denver produced around 570 million, and the San Francisco mint created about 3.3 million proof coins. That means the vast majority of these coins are very common. You can find them in circulation all the time. But just because they're common doesn't mean there aren't rare gems hiding in plain sight. The key to unlocking their value lies in condition and errors. In circulated grades, most 1991 quarters are worth just face value, 25 cents. Even in mint state grades like MS-63 or MS-64, they usually fetch around $1 or $2. But when you reach the higher mint state grades like MS-67 and above, that's where prices can jump dramatically. For example, a 1991 D quarter graded MS-67 by PCGS has sold for over $1,500 at auction. These are the kinds of coins that collectors fight over, because out of millions struck, very few survive in flawless condition. Now let's dive into the world of error coins, which is where the real treasures can be found. One of the most popular errors for 1991 quarters is the double die, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. Strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust, can make a quarter worth hundreds or even thousands, depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition. Always check your 1991 quarters under a magnifying glass. You never know what you might discover. Another valuable error is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not seated properly in the press, causing the design to be struck off-center. The more dramatic the off-center, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable the coin. A 1991 quarter with a 50% off-center strike could easily bring in several $100s. Then we have clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake during the blank cutting process. These errors are quite collectible, and the more dramatic the clip, the higher the value. There are also broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes the rim, giving the coin a stretched or distorted appearance. Collectors love these because they're visually striking and easy to identify. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint deserve special mention as well. Most proof 1991 S quarters are not particularly rare and sell for a few dollars. However, if you find one in pristine, deep cameo condition, it could be worth $20 to $50. But the real jackpot comes with error-proof coins, such as a missing S mint mark. Although not documented for 1991, missing mint mark proof coins from other years have sold for thousands, so it's always worth checking. Beyond errors, collectors also pay attention to strike quality and luster. Quarters with sharp details, strong strikes, and vibrant cartwheel luster command premiums even without major errors. If you have a coin that looks like it just rolled out of the mint, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. That grading certification could turn your 25-cent coin into a $100 or even $1,000 treasure. So, how can you tell if your 1991 quarter is valuable? Start by checking the mint mark. Coins from Denver and Philadelphia are common, but high-grade examples are worth more. Next, carefully examine the coin for doubling, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other unusual features. Finally, consider the coin's overall condition, scratches, dings, and where lower the value, while sharp, clean coins are worth far more. It's also fascinating to consider the historical context of these coins. In 1991, the United States was experiencing significant events like the Gulf War and the early days of the Internet age. These quarters were part of everyday life, exchanged in stores, vending machines, and gas stations. Holding a 1991 quarter today is like holding a small piece of American history, a reminder of what life was like over 3 decades ago. And remember, stories of people finding rare coins in pocket change are real. Someone once pulled a valuable double-die quarter out of circulation, and another collector discovered a dramatic off-center strike in their change from a convenience store. These finds are out there, waiting for sharp eyes and curious minds to discover them. So the next time you come across a 1991 US quarter, don't dismiss it as just spare change. Take a closer look, because it could be worth far more than 25 cents. Whether it's a flawless mint state coin, a dramatic error, or a proof with exceptional qualities, these coins have the potential to surprise you. Coin collecting isn't just about the money, though, it's about the history, the thrill of the hunt, and the excitement of discovering treasures in the most unexpected places. Before we wrap up, remember this: millions of 1,991 quarters exist, but only a handful are true rarities. If you take the time to examine your coins carefully, you might just find one of those hidden gems. And who knows? That quarter sitting in your pocket right now might be worth thousands of dollars.